Chevrolet Corvette Second Generation, C2, 1963 to 1967. The second generation, C2, Corvette, which introduced Stingray to the model, continued with fiberglass body panels, and overall, was smaller than the first generation. The C2 was later referred to as mid-years. The car was designed by Larry Shinoda with major inspiration from a previous concept design called the Q Corvette, which was created by Peter Brock and Chuck Pullman under the styling direction of Bill Mitchell. Earlier, Mitchell had sponsored a car known as the Mitchell Stingray in 1959 because Chevrolet no longer participated in factory racing. This vehicle had the largest effect on the styling of this generation, although it had no top and did not give away what the final version of the C2 would look like. The third inspiration was a Mako shark Mitchell had caught while deep-sea fishing. Production started for the 1963 model year and ended in 1967. Introducing a new name, Stingray, the 1963 model was the first year for a Corvette coupe and it featured a distinctive tapering rear deck, a feature that later reappeared on the 1971 Boattail Buick Riviera with, for 1963 only, a split rear window. The Stingray featured hidden headlamps, non-functional hood vents, and an independent rear suspension. Corvette chief engineer Zora Arkastuntov never liked the split rear window because it blocked rear vision, but Mitchell thought it to be a key part of the entire design. Maximum power for 1963 was 360 bhp, 270 kilowatts, and was raised to 375 bhp, 280 kilowatts, in 1964. Options included electronic ignition, the breakerless magnetic pulse trigger Delcatronic first offered on some 1963 Pontiac models. On 1964 models the decorative hood vents were eliminated and Duntov, the Corvette's chief engineer, got his way with a split rear window changed to a full-width window. Four-wheel disc brakes were introduced in 1965, as was a big block engine option, the 396 cubic inches, 6.49 liters, V8. Side exhaust pipes were also optionally available in 1965, and continued to be offered through 1967. The introduction of the 425 bhp, 317 kilowatts 396 cubic inches, 6.49 liters, big block in 1965 spelled the beginning of the end for the Rochester fuel injection system. The 396 cubic inches, 6.49 liters, option cost $292.70 while the fuel-injected 327 cubic inches, 5.36 liters, engine cost $538. Few people could justify spending $245 more for 50 bhp, 37 kilowatts, less, even though FI could deliver over 20 miles per gallon on the highway and would keep delivering fuel despite high geoloading and corners taken at racing speeds. Another rare 63 and 64 option was the Z06 competition package, which offered stiffer suspension, bigger, multi-segment lined brakes with fin drums, and more. Only a couple hundred coupes and a single convertible were factory equipped this way in 1963. With only 771 fuel-injected cars built in 1965, Chevrolet discontinued the option at the end of the 65 production, having introduced a less expensive big block 396 engine rated at 425 horsepower in the middle of the production year and selling over 2,000 in just a few months. For 1966, Chevrolet introduced an even larger 427 cubic inches, 7.00 liters, big block version. Other options available on the C2 included the Wonderbar auto tuning AM radio, AM/FM radio, mid 1963, air conditioning, late 1963, a telescopic steering wheel, 1965, and headrests, 1966. The Stingray's independent rear suspension was successfully adapted for the new for 1965 Chevrolet Corvair, which solved the quirky handling problems of that unique rear-engine compact.